Good morning and welcome to Development Corridor here at Landslide News. This is one of our special programs where we discuss and analyze the things that will make and help us push our nation forward. You know, the job of building a nation is like a project work. There are many milestones and there are many pieces. One of the milestones we are looking up to is the one where we can have a Nigeria that works for everybody. And in doing so, a lot is involved, like I said earlier. Today, we have a person of Emmanuel Obeta, a brand manager and an author of a brand book that is really making waves. it's making waves everywhere. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so
Well
much.
done, sir. Yeah. So, with me to also talk to him is my colleague. Of course, anybody that is that knows this station knows you. A person of Kingsley Okemoya.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, one day we are going to throw insight in the meaning of this Okemoya.
Okay. That would be lovely.
Yeah. So we are talking about building a new image for Nigeria. I have a question. What is wrong with the old image?
First of all, I think let's understand the concept of image first,
Okay.
before we go on, because that is where we will now understand clearly what is wrong with the old image.
Okay.
Because an image is simply a reflection of reality. Just like when you look at yourself in a mirror, what the mirror throws back to you is actually who you are. Some mirror can have some modification abilities, enhance some abilities, but actually that is what it is. So when we're talking about image, we're talking about the perception of Nigeria across different areas, across our various institutions, processes, products, both internally and also externally. Now, so when you look at Nigeria and you ask that question, what is wrong with the image of Nigeria? It goes a long way. I'll give you some statistics. For instance, the Legatum Prosperity Index for 2023 rated Nigeria 142 out of 167 countries. In other words, the prosperity index for Nigeria compared with all other countries in the world, Nigeria came 142 position out of 167 countries that were interviewed. If you also look at the Transparency International report for 2022, you find out that Nigeria is number 150 out of 170 nations. So Nigeria is just 20 places better from the bottom. So that's what we're talking about, image. So, and what is that? In Nigeria, like the Transparency International pointed out, in Nigeria is ridden by institutionalized corruption. If you want to break it down further, which part of the world, which country in the world have you heard that snake swallowed 40 million naira and millions of naira?
Until today, nobody's in jail for it. Nobody's being tried for that. And I don't know how they retired it in their account.
Fantastic.
What did they write? Did they write money swallowed by snake?
I don't know.
What is the project fulfilled by that?
Now, if you want to go a little bit further, you now find out that most of the mega corruption cases in Nigeria, they enter a plea bargain. And in that plea bargain, it is settled out of court. And nobody talks about the monumental amount of naira, of money that is involved, like the previous accountant general as was accused, about billions, hundreds of billions. What has happened to it?
Nothing.
So you find out that Transparency International is not wrong in their evaluation. If you also want to look at a lot of other indices, the Global Terrorism Index, globally, Nigeria is number 8 in the Global Terrorism Index. So when you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, Nigeria is the 8th most terrorized nation in the world. And you can go on and on
No,
and
no,
on.
wait. No. The question now would come in there is, in the last 20 years, what was our best score? Do you have idea?
No, I don't. I didn't do a comparative analysis,
okay.
but we can do
So
that.
yes.
But what is most important? Let's even assume that 20 years ago we were doing okay.
Yeah.
But what is important is the current image,
Yeah.
the current perception of Nigeria. It's not over yet. Let me even give you some more statistics that will shock you.
Okay.
Nigeria in the Human Capital Index has the 7th lowest human capital index in the whole world.
Can you help us explain what that
Fine.
means?
Lowest. In other words, lowest in terms of human capital utilization, in terms of human capital empowerment, in terms of human power improvement, and getting the benefit from your human capital. It is no surprise because you look at Nigeria today. What are the young people doing?
Nothing.
Do they have jobs?
Yahoo, and Japa.
I mean, completely. So most young people in Nigeria today are frustrated to the point where they do not see any future in this country, other than crime and other than other things.
So now, why do you think we need a new image?
Because the problem, all these things. I'll give you another shocking, another statistics. In 2016, a survey was conducted, and Nigerian police force was rated as the most corrupt police force in the whole world. Is that not shocking?
But they are our friends.
No, that is what they say. That the Nigerian police.
Nigerian police is our friend.
That is what they say.
Get to the police station first. So you will know whether they are your friend or not.
So the issue is that, all these things will culminate to the image of Nigeria. Another shocking one is in terms of lawlessness. If you look at American society, it's not that there are no crimes.
No, of course.
It's not like the police are perfect in America. But you can see an American sue the police, and the police can pay damages to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
But in the history of Nigeria, have you seen the Nigerian police force pay any damages?
They won't even come to court.
So that tells you the level of regard we have to the law. So you know what it boils down to?
Yeah.
Let's look at, assume an international investor wants to come into Nigeria. And he reviews the situation of law, in terms of in Nigeria. And he finds out that there are some institutions of government that even when you take them to court and they are guilty, they will not, remedy those damages.
Yes.
How will that person, okay, and you see again, the contract issue in Nigeria depends on who you are, who you know, and who is backing you. So when you default in some contractual provisions, there is no law
no repercussion for
to
it.
hold you responsible. So the man from abroad will now think, how can I bring my money into an economy when I have legal conflict with those people or with the institutions of government? My money is not safe.
Yes.
I cannot guarantee that my business ongoing, will be safeguarded.
Yeah.
That my investment, even if something goes wrong, that I will be paid and I'll be. So at the end of the day, that is what culminates to the image that people see, and that's how they relate to Nigeria.
Okay, it's like you have.
Yes, this analysis is quite shocking, really. To the layman on the street, we don't know most of these things. Though we can feel it, we can see it, and until you get out of the country, that's how you know the difference between. I think I once went to the US and I was coming home and everywhere was quiet. I said, it's like they took the light. Because that's my mentality. How can we set on the path of recovery?
Okay, or building a new image.
Yes, a positive national image.
Okay, first of all, like I said, the mistake a lot of people make about building a new image is that you think you can polish your image that your image is like your dress that you can just iron and wear it. It's not something simple, because the mirror is a reflection of who you really are. So what culminates to your image is both the actions and inactions being carried out in the country. The promises that are made that are not fulfilled. I'll give you an example. The level of failure in our Nigerian grid, as somebody was counting, I think in December, it was about 12 times or thereabout.
Yeah, one every month.
So,
And this year it has happened this month already.
fine. So, looking at it, the question is, when you're the image, an image of a country where you cannot guarantee steady supply of power. So, how do we begin to rectify it? You see, one is to understand and agree what is our value system as a country. What do we really want to be known for in this country? What is uppermost in our mind as a country? Where do we want to go? First of all, okay, when we agree on that, because you find that Nigeria is a multicultural, multi-ethnic country where there is hardly any agreement between the ethnic realities that we have.
Even within a state, not even the nation as a whole, even within a state.
So building or chartering a direction for Nigeria has been a perpetual problem that we have. Where are we headed? What do we really want to achieve? What do we really want to be known for in this country? You see, every administration, every government comes, they tell you their own priorities. And once that government goes, all the commitments, all the issues about that is pushed to the dust. So there is no continuity. It looks like we're consistently building and demolishing. We're not moving forward. It's like taking one step forward, 3 steps backward.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, if we continue to take one step forward and 3 steps backward, we're already going backward. And we can see that to the extent that our index of today couldn't even match that of 10 years, 20 years ago, whereas we should be getting better. Now, you mentioned issues of priorities. We just have a little more time before we go for the break.
Okay.
What do you think should be our national priority today? Let me help you spell it out.
Okay.
We don't want to get into politics. Is it conducting election to be free and fair so that we can bring in the right people? Or is it ensuring that the finance managers are those who have been tried and true? What do you think should be our number one priority? If this image, it's not a paint, it's us. It's a reflection of us. If this image is eventually us, what should be our priority? Let's do that in 2 minutes before we go for break.
Just like you pointed out, there are different indices involved in building this image.
Yes.
So it's the collectivity of all these things that when you put it, just like a chessboard, all the things on the chessboard are very important.
Yes.
But it is how you integrate them and how you move them or how you synchronize them at the end of the day that will build a kind of image that you want to achieve. In talking about priorities, okay, you also need to understand that Nigeria is made up of different stratas of people. For instance, a major chunk of Nigerian population, which the Nigerian government has not realized, are the youths. The youths, to a large extent, are almost making up to something as much as 60 to 70% of the Nigerian population, by some analysis.
Yes.
So, have the government consciously asked these youths or try to find out what these youths want?
I think we'll take it up from there, because I do know we have youth sports ministry was just bundled recently, and they now specialize youth development ministry.
Then not sports.
Then not sports,
because they're still the same youth.
Yeah, so we are going to take it up from there, probably when we come from the break. This is still Development Corridor. We'll be right back. You're welcome back to Development Corridor. You know, today is Armed Forces Remembrance Day. Congratulations to Nigerians. And also, let's keep praying for our Armed Forces members, the military. They've been doing well, particularly in the last 10, 12 years. It's been challenging for them. You know, these are fathers, these are mothers, you know, trying to sacrifice their life that we might be safe. Today is their day. If you have any military officer, please shout out to them today. Back in the studio, we still have our specialist, our guest, Emmanuel Obeta. It's been a very, very good time with you so far.
Thank you.
My friend, brother, and colleague is still here with me, Kingsley, and also a namesake. Thank you for remaining behind. Yes, we were talking about, before we went for the break, we were talking about the youth.
Yes.
I think we should pick it up from there. Yes. Now, without leaving the focus, a lot of people have said our youth have a lot of factors affecting them. One of them is that the government of the day has failed them.
Very true.
Another people say the home front has failed them. And the youth are now being bamboozled by these two things. Yeah. The government failing them, such that those that want to work has nothing to do. Then home front failing them, you see parents having a young daughter, a young boy who isn't working, they will come home with Mercedes-Benz from Yahoo or from any other, or the girl got the money from Yahoo boy, and their parents celebrate them. How do we build our youth? How do we give them the image? Because the image of the youth is actually the youth, like you have told us. It's a reflection of the youth. And what is the contribution of the youth ministry?
Okay. You see, in talking about the youths, one of the things that is important about youths is that they can be easily influenced.
Yes.
And they can easily be carried away.
I work with the youth. Ask Kingsley. I've always told him why I hire the youth is that you can redirect them.
Very true.
Yes, they are very malleable.
But positively or negatively.
Yes. That is the important thing. But you see, the critical factor in influencing the youth is who is the role model that they are emulating or that you're placing before them.
Yes.
Let's look at the Nigerian country today, the Nigerian environment.
Yeah.
Tell me the key people in society that the youths can emulate. How many of them? Very few.
Very few.
Burna Boy.
Davido. And what is it negative or positive? Because what they see is the Mercedes, is the Lamborghini, is the Rolls Royce, the bling bling that these people are rolling out. They are not thinking and all that. Okay? They are not sitting down to think, how do they make that money? And you see, the one thing about youths also is that they are impatient. They want quick results.
Yes.
So we are not modeling our youths correctly. The picture we are painting before them or the image we are presenting before them is a very erroneous image. Let's start from the local government. You see a local government chairman who was a nobody before. He just becomes because by virtue of being a local government chairman, automatically he goes in a chain of convoy. You know, he goes with siren. Before you know it, he's building estates everywhere.
Or by being a thug to a politician. Then he's now chosen to run for chairman.
You see?
Because he's lawyer.
These are the pictures that the young people are looking at. And then you now come and tell them to go to school. That's why they tell you that school is a scam. They will tell you, if you go to school, before you go to school and graduate, he will have done whatever he needs to do, either in business or crime or whatever. He will be ready to employ you by the time you're graduating. So they look at those people who went to school, professors today. How much is their salary? After how many years? 20, 25 years of consistent education and work. You become a professor. Your salary is less than or about 400,000 naira in a month. What are the images we are giving these people? Let's look at the other society. Let's look at America, for instance. America has Elon Musk that the young people can aspire to become like. America has Bill Gates. America has Trump. America has 1,001 people. In sports, they have people who are
Jordan.
excelling.
Yeah.
In music, they have people who are excelling.
Yeah.
In business, they have people who are excelling. In IT, late Steve Jobs, and all these people. So there are 1,001 images fighting in the minds of the young people out there who they want to become. And each one of them propels them to give their best. But in Nigeria, they tell you the easiest way to make money is either to do crime or go into politics. And when you go into politics, you make money. So those are the images we present. And those are the wrong images. And these are the images that will, at the end of the day, culminate into the behavioral pattern of these youth.
So how do we, because we want to build this nation,
See,
we don't have another one.
Okay.
How do we change this trajectory?
The honest fact is that, like in visioning in corporate organization, it is the people, the CEO and the board that drives the vision of the organization. If Nigeria is going to change, and if Nigeria is going to build a new image, it also has to be driven from the top. I give you an example. We have a culture in this country where the big men do not queue on the queue. If there is a queue and a big man comes, it's accepted for the big man to jump the queue and to be attended
As a matter of fact, yesterday there was this thing flying on the internet that a musician had to bounce the owner of the event, who was actually sponsoring the event. Do you know why? They said the person did not dress like a big man.
Beautiful.
So it's so bad that even the people operating, whoever that is attending to those on queue, will be shocked and will treat you like a poor man if he finds you in the queue. So it's expected that if you are a big man, you should not be in the queue.
Fantastic.
How do we change that tradition?
So you see, now, permit me also to point at a personality. Somebody in the neighborhood or the personality of Obi, Peter Obi.
Yeah.
These are the kind of, you people wonder why the youths like him. He reflects the ideals that the youths like.
Of a good society that they look forward to.
Yes, an egalitarian society. Peter Obi, by all intents and purposes, is a billionaire, both in naira and dollars. But if you see him at the airport, he will carry his luggage
By himself.
And he will enter the vehicle by himself. He does not expect to be treated any differently. If he's standing on a queue, he will insist that he must be attended to based on the position that he's standing on that queue. I can tell you, if we have 10, 20, 30, 50 top Nigerians behaving
like
that way, Nigeria will change. Because what you have is, you are in a shop, you want to shop. One big man comes with his police escort, and they want everybody to leave that shop because the big man wants to shop.
I agree with you. So bad now. If somebody wins, if a small girl like this wins beauty pageant, in Instagram, somebody's already opening door for her to enter. If anybody wins cooking competition, the next thing there's a Range Rover park.
Like Linda Bassey.
I don't know. another person will open door for her to enter. These are children. These are, by all intents and purposes, are all kids, babies who have years ahead of them to live.
And a lot to learn.
A lot to learn. They're already like that. And when the money doesn't come, what do they do?
You see, that's the problem. Because that is a culture that is modeled to them, before them. That is the proof of success. You know, everybody has to kneel, bow before you, so that then you feel that you have arrived. These are the minions.
Once somebody buys a car, the next thing is to hire a driver.
Yes.
And you are still young, you are energetic, you can drive.
So that is the issue. But out there, you see a prime minister enter the train, and then if there is no seat, the person is standing. Whether you think it's for political purposes or not,
but
he has painted an image. Like the example is saying, the Prime Minister of Netherlands, riding his bicycle to office. So, if you're multi-millionaire, you're billions, is of no relevance. It does not change the basic values of society.
So we have to continue to campaign that those who are up there in your little place where you are the head of the organization, you are the CEO, you are the MD, you are the director general, you are whatever, begin to a kind of show example of contentment, humility, and don't place attention on materiality. Kingsley, like you have something to tell
Okay, so I really want to go a little bit political. I know, but you see, politics rounds up everything.
Yeah.
It's what brings everybody together.
Yeah.
Do you think in this present dispensation that we are get towards what we want to see tomorrow?
You see, that is a basic problem, you see, in not just in Nigeria, in so many countries. Politicians do not think about tomorrow. They only think about today.
And the next election.
And the next election. Statesmen are people who think about the future.
Sure.
The politicians are so short-sighted that they do not care. I'll give you an example, about currency. The ways and means. If there is no money, you must find the ways and means to fund the economy. If you need to borrow, you have to borrow. You don't care how much loans or debt you are accumulating for the next generation or for the next administration. All you're interested is that you have enough money to do what you want to do and satisfy yourself and your people.
And believe that those things must be done.
Today.
Those vehicles must be bought. Those things must be done.
That's right.
Whether you have money or not.
You have to
borrow
satisfy some people.
and treat it like operational costs.
Do you understand? But a statesman who is looking at the future will think about the future implications of today's decision. How is it going to impact this country? What legacy and what image am I leaving behind?
So is this suffice or sufficient of us to say that, because you just mentioned something just now, he says a statesman and a politician.
Yeah.
So can we say the statesman is a leader, then the politician is a ruler?
Well,
The only thing I have to say in all honesty is that there has to be a deep reorientation in our political class.
yes.
Their thinking, their mindset, their approach to things is not moving us to our desired
Destination. I think that's going to be our takeaway: orientation, reorientation,
basically.
such that the politicians begin to see themselves as the statesmen that we have.
That's right.
Such that their concern will not just be next election,
That's right.
but probably
Or
the next
just
generation,
themselves.
or just themselves, but probably the next generation.
That's
I
right.
think we are going to press the button right there. We are going to have you on this studio next time to come and discuss and continue this matter. But for now, this is the best we can take. This is still Development Corridor. The work and the job and the project to take Nigeria to our next milestone, which is the Nigeria that works for everybody. It continues. Maybe from our next episode. Thank you for watching and thank you for standing by.